Hey, I wanted to drop in and offer a little bit on BwhYOD. Let me show you a cartoon I always get a kick out of, because when you think about desktop, right? Hey, just type whatever I say without thinking, and they're typing whatever he says without thinking, literally. So there's those realities, right? Well, if I have my laptop or device in the class, they're not really going to be learning. They're just going to be, just mindlessly taking notes or just engaging but not really engaging. And then there's this other reality, right, that they're going to, I'm going to be up there in front of the class or whatever, and they're just, they're doing Facebook, right, and touching base with their friends. So I really like what Kathy Davidson put in this one article. It says, I neither require nor ban laptops. I never use any technology without having the students discuss the affordances of that particular technology. When I do use laptops in the classroom, make sure it is for a purpose and that everyone in the class participates in that purpose. So when we're looking at technology, it's purpose-driven, if you will, right? But what about BwhYOD? Why do we want students potentially to use devices in our face-to-face or blended class? And that's our topic of the day, right? Because I always say, speak the language your students learn in. They're coming with their devices. And, I always say, is that device a hill you want to die on? Is students put your device away? Is that going to be functional? Is that realistic? Is that what we want to do? Or do we want to teach them how to learn with the tools they're going to have in their hands most of the time anyhow? And it can enhance the learning process. If we look at the science of learning, there are ways that we use the technology that makes the learning outcomes more achievable and quicker. And then you can practice in a more ambient way in and out of the classroom. So what are some best practices with BwhYOD in your classroom? First, establish clear guidelines for how and when personal devices are going to be used in your class. Put that in the syllabus. Use apps that will extend specific curricular experiences, both within the class structure and beyond the class time. And get feedback from your students, right? Ensure smooth interoperability in current software. And let students be part of that process and that feedback process. But don't worry, they'll let you know, right? Establish some clear guidelines. Include a policy in your syllabus in regard to technological misuse. What does netiquette look like? And define technological misuse as it applies to your course. What is technology gone wrong look like in your course? And what is it that you want them to do with the technology in a formative and respectful way? And publish the campus policy on cyberbullying in the student code of conduct and make sure that gets into your syllabus. Find out, how does the user experience differ when toggling between a computer and a mobile device? Ask the students, what's it like in this class when you use your mobile device? What's it like when you use a laptop? Make them part of that learning process, of that learning environment, and help them establish that for future learning environments. Specifically, if you're talking about a face-to-face or blended class, this works really well. And you can also find out, what does this look like in the online class as well? Is there a different experience in the user in iOS and Android? I always ask, and I did it in this workshop, adjusting my glasses here, what do you have? Do you have iOS and Android so I know how to cater to both worlds? And how can your campus, this is the question, right? How can our campus best support personal devices? Lastly, you want to determine your movement. What is your BwhYOD movement going to look like in your class? What are your policies going to be? What is your trajectory? What's your learning outcome? I hope your day 5 is going well, and I hope you're learning new insights about blended and BwhYOD.